beautiful are these flowers? My best friend Kimberly bought me them, and like, oh, they're literally lighting up my room, and every day I wake up I'm like, they're so pretty. Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. I was not going to film today. It is a rainy Thursday and I was going to go straight to bed after work, but then I was like, no, I recently received an email from one of you guys and I got quite a few good questions and I thought, I feel like answering them today, so let's get straight to it. Okay, so this email was from a viewer who recently received an offer for pharmacy at King's College London, so congratulations, you're in for a big treat. The first question was, how did you find student housing after first year? The uni does say in some cases you may stay in the uni. Would you say that's feasible or better to find somewhere else? Well, my accommodation was in Stamford Street and it was literally opposite the main pharmacy building, so I could walk over the road and go straight to my lectures. That accommodation, let's just say that I cried when I arrived. It was small. It was very small. There was literally a tiny single bed, then like immediately behind was the desk. It was en suite, but you know, like an aeroplane bathroom? That is what it was like. Like you sat on the toilet and the shower was like here. So it was an interesting experience for first year. But would I recommend staying on? Well, if the accommodation is good, then yeah, why not stay on? But a lot of people tend to, in second year, I guess, move out with their friends and like live with other people. I, in second year, really last minute found someone to live with. And I guess we just rushed straight into it. So it was one of my girlfriends on the course and we didn't actually know each other at all. We barely knew each other. And I think that she would agree that it was an interesting year. I think it was difficult because it was just the two of us living together and we were going to uni every day together, walking back from uni every day together. So you were kind of like up in each other's faces. So it was hard. It was a difficult year. So I don't really recommend living with one person, especially not someone who, and she would agree with this, that you don't really know. That's the thing. I don't think I'd ever live, unless like obviously you get married or whatever, but I don't think I'd ever live with just one friend. I always think it's better to distribute and like have your own freedom. So if there's more than one friend that you have found to live with, then I think that is a really good idea. But yeah, if the uni accommodation is good, if you want to stay on. If you've got friends that you can live with in second year, more than one preferably, then I'd go for that option. The second question was, if I don't get student accommodation from university, what are some websites I could look at to get a room elsewhere close to campus? Well, I would just use Spare Room, unless it says, I think some of the places will say not for students, but this current place that I'm in right now, I'm renting and I found through Spare Room. So you find quite like a few good places on Spare Room. And there's obviously Gumtree, I'm not really sure about. I think it's hit and miss with Gumtree. And then there's also Rightmove, but that's more if you've got people to rent with. And I guess there's like general London student accommodation places as well, which will be like a massive block of flats specifically set for students. I don't know if that was a good enough answer, but if you just want to look for a room to live in, then Spare Room is probably your best bet. My budget is around £1,100 a month. Do you think that's enough? How did you manage your budgeting? Okay, so I was on student loan during my university years, and that itself could not cover the accommodation. So my parents dealt with the accommodation and then I used the student loan as like a maintenance fee. And I think at the time I remember it being about £1,700 and that was over 3 months. And I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. I didn't know how to budget at that age, so I would always run out of money. I was always asking my parents, oh, I've already run out, can you send me money? I was lucky enough to have that, but it was difficult. I don't think during my student years I could really enjoy London. I mean, I don't regret going to King's College London, but I don't think there's any benefits of being a student in London necessarily, especially if you can't enjoy London. I would say now as a professional I can enjoy it a lot more because I have the finances to do that, but most of the time at university was spent in the library or at home studying. So I don't think I got to enjoy the benefits of London. If I could go back in time, I probably would go to a university that's not London and save. But like I said, there's no regrets. Do I think £1,100 a month is enough? I think so. I think as a student, yeah. It depends if you're also paying for accommodation, because if you are paying for accommodation, then probably not. Probably most of that is going to be spent on accommodation. But if it's just for general living costs, then I would say that that's a reasonably fine amount. The next question is, I remember you saying it's possible to have a job in London during my degree. Is there a specific type of job you would recommend? Okay, so I think any job is good because anytime you are out there in the world, you're obtaining all sorts of skill sets, whether that's as a waiter, whether that's as a pharmacy assistant, whatever. Now this one I am divided. So the reason I'm divided is because when you start work as a pharmacist, you will be working as a pharmacist most likely for life. So half of me thinks, why would you want to start work as a pharmacy assistant so early on in your degree, especially first and second year? But then half of me is also like, it is helpful. So when it comes to jobs during the degree, I always tell my little brother this as well. Try and find a job that you can learn from and that you're not going to be brain dead in. So I know one of my friends actually worked at Car Phone Warehouse during their degree, and they learned a lot about phones. You are not wasting time because you're earning money, but you're also learning as well. And I guess that's the same with pharmacy assistant. I don't think you should necessarily should push yourself that you have to go for a pharmacy job. I think broadening your skill sets in other areas is also a good idea. So don't limit yourself to pharmacy jobs only. Try and consider jobs where you'll learn something new and you'll learn that, and that will be a skill set you can take on for life. I'm really scared that I won't find any friends at university because I'm not from a rich private schoolgirl background. How hard is it to find someone you vibe with? Especially now with COVID, I have no idea how I'm going to find friends. I'm a bit confused by this one. Why do you think you have to be a rich private schoolgirl background person to have friends? Everywhere you go, it's possible to make friends. At university, I mean at King's especially, you've seen in my previous videos, I don't think that I was particularly that keen on absolutely everyone and that I made friends with everyone, but I made a friendship group, and then once I found that group, it was yeah, I'm happy and I still really care about them and we still talk to this day. I mean, you guys have met Navid and you know how good friends we are. So I would say don't worry. I'm not really sure what you mean by COVID having an impact on you making friends. Honestly, if you don't make friends, fine. You don't make friends, I'll be your friend. And if you do make friends, great. That's it. I just don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't think, oh my gosh, when I go to university, by this point I need to make this many friends and I need to do this. Just take it easy, relax, it's gonna be fine. Is there a syllabus that the teachers go through? And can I have a look if you have one? Well, I was at university in 2013, so that is 7 years ago. That was when I started my degree. So I don't have the syllabus, but they give you one at the start and it's available probably online on Blackboard. No, is it Blackboard? Or is it Moodle? I literally can't even remember. But it's the online system. There'll be a syllabus on there and that will tell you what the course structure will be. So just print that off and have a look at it. What are the main books? I get asked this question a lot. I would say don't spend money on books. There are so many books in the library. So if you go to a lecture and you didn't really understand what the lecturer was saying and you want to look a bit more into it, go to the library, find a book there. But there aren't any specific books that will make you better on the course. I spent way too much time looking for books, poring over books, obsessing over books, and then by the time I got to the exams, I didn't even have time to read the books. So scrap the books. Obviously use them if you want to look a bit more into something and you want a bit more detail on something, but honestly, don't spend any money on them and don't go obsessive and don't start thinking, oh my gosh, this book's already borrowed by this person so I can't find it, therefore I'm going to have to buy it. Don't do that. It is not worth it, and I can tell you that for free. Is there any website I could look at for past students' graduation projects? So you're talking about the final year project, right? There's not a specific site that I'm aware of, but I'm happy to share mine. So if anyone wants to read mine, just give me an email and I'll send it to you. It's not that special. Obviously, the aim is to get published. So King's is very research based. So they will push for you to work as hard as you can to get it published. But I don't even know anyone in my year who actually did get published. I might be wrong. There might be one or two people. But how amazing is an MPharm project gonna be, right? It's not like you're gonna invent a drug. I mean, you might, and if you do, then congratulations. But it's just a project, right? So I'm happy to share mine. If anyone wants to read mine, then let me know. Mostly about the project, what I want to say is that someone should be able to pick it up that does not do pharmacy, and they should be able to follow it through and read it and kind of understand what is happening. So most of my marks for that project came from clarity. It was important for my project to be clear and set out in a way that makes sense. And I think that is where a lot of the marks came from. Obviously content is very important as well, the clinical side of it. But make sure that at the end, when you've finally written it, that you can give it to a family member who's got nothing to do with pharmacy and they can follow it through. By the end of the project, you're going to be so sick of it, but always have someone new completely just cast their eyes over it. How big is the year? I read from somewhere that there's about 120 students. Okay, so we started with 150 students, right? So in 2013, 150 students were admitted onto the MPharm degree. And by the 4th year, I think 75 of those people graduated. So we lost half. Now, more people came onto the course. For example, there was obviously some people who redid the year and then joined us, like from the previous year. There were people who did join us, but I'm talking about from the 150 original people in 2013 that joined with me in that cohort, there was half of us left that graduated 4th year. And it felt really ruthless because you'd be like, oh, where's like that guy gone, or where's that girl gone who you kind of knew they were around, but then the next year they're not. And so it really was a ruthless process. You felt like it was a very filtering process where it was just cutthroat. King's was really cutthroat, you know, with the negative marking, losing marks if you answer something wrong, that is. The resit situation was very difficult as well. The pressure, there was so much pressure. It was a very cutthroat university degree. I mean, it might be different now, but that's how it was when I was there. So yeah, our pharmacy students looked down by other science faculties. I heard an example of Southampton medical students literally mocking the students of biomed because those people didn't get into medicine. I mean, you know what, wherever you go, you're going to get people who have something negative to say. But what's funny is when you start working as a pharmacist, the doctors need you. So I wouldn't pay attention to anyone, doctor or not, like just in general. If anyone has something negative to say, then it's fine, you know? Like, that is nothing to do with you or me. I just think people can do what they want, but as long as I am giving my best every day and I'm happy and I know that every decision I make I'm proud of, then we're all good. So who cares, right? At the end of the day, you know, those people are the ones who are going to need the help of pharmacists and probably won't be able to write the words and figures for a controlled drug TTA. So are the lecturers nice? As in, do they care? Okay, so some lecturers at King's are amazing and they are some of the top researchers in the world. So some of those people who are like literally publishing an article like all the time are the ones who are teaching you. And then you get some who are working, so in the workplace they will be doing work on like the wards as specialist pharmacists, but then they'll come and teach us. And so yeah, wherever you go, again, this is a kind of not really specific to King's sort of answer. You will get really good lecturers and you'll also get some not so good ones. I can tell you that I did not like my tutor and she was not a great lecturer. But then there was also plenty of other good lecturers as well. Some will email you back really quickly and really nicely, and some will email back with one-word answers. So how do you take notes during lectures? With pen and paper or digitally? Well, I would attend my lectures with my MacBook. I'm just better at typing because all of my notes are typed. I wasn't going to sit and start writing stuff with a pen. And by the time I'm writing it, they've already moved on and I've forgotten what I'm writing. But I kind of got into that practice only probably after 2nd year. It will take time for you to adjust and for you to get into a rhythm of what you're actually doing. Don't listen to people like me on YouTube who will tell you how to revise. There is no point in someone telling you how to revise. Honestly, just find your own way of doing it and stick to it, whatever works for you. Are the slides available somewhere before the course begins? Yes, these slides are usually available on the online system of the name, which I can't remember, Moodle or Blackboard or whatever. They are all on there, but sometimes the lecturers will update them really late. So you might go to the lecture having printed all the lecture notes, but then you realise actually there was no point in doing that because they've changed it all. In the first lecture, is there going to be an entry test? Not that I can remember. They wouldn't just spring a test upon you. And you've said here that you want to know what topics you should revise so that you don't make a clown of yourself. You're not going to make a clown of yourself. There's going to be about, I don't know, over 100 people in that lecture theatre. Don't panic. Just turn up and enjoy the ride. Some people have loved King's. I had, you know, mixed experiences of it, but I hope that your experience is better than mine. And for anyone going to King's or going to any university studying pharmacy, I just want to say, you'll have fun. You'll love it. Good luck, basically. And stick together, help each other out. At the end of the day, there's no limit. There's no limit such as only 100 people can pass the degree. No, everyone can pass. So help each other out, stick together, make connections, find people in the year above and ask them for help. Make the most of it. At the end of the day, if you enjoy it, great. If you don't worry, because I didn't. And like I said, I love being a pharmacist now. So I hope that you found some use in this video and you appreciate the fact that I did not go straight to bed today and I actually filmed this. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!